Okay, so picking up right where we left off, in the previous video, if you hit the space bar, an invisible shot came out, struck the barrel, and then the barrel was pulled towards the player. So now what we need to do is we now need to be able to shoot the barrel using it as a projectile, using it as a weapon. So we're going to have to start tracking whether or not a barrel is being held. We're not doing that yet. Right now, in ShotCon, we're just saying if space is hit, then go ahead and instantiate this. Now we need to say, okay, we're holding a barrel, so don't instantiate this. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start tracking a few things. We're going to have to track to see if a barrel has been struck and is moving towards the player, and then if the barrel is now in front of the player and then can be thrown as a weapon. So that means we need a variable that is going to store several different values, or several different potential values, but only one at a time. So it's not a list, it's just a regular variable. So public static, because we need this variable to be accessible throughout the program, string, and we'll say Telekinesis status, because it's going to be several. And it'll start as no, that it's not holding anything. We'll save that. So we need to modify this, because right now we're saying hit space and shoot this out. Now we only want to say shoot this out if this is set to no, because this is the default value. And telestatus equals n. So if you haven't shot it out yet, and you're not having it come towards you, and you're not holding it yet, okay, then you should indeed be able to shoot out the object. So we'll save this. Now we're going to run this before we go any further, just to make sure we didn't break anything, because now we're checking this new status. So let's run this. I'll hit space, and it is still working, so we didn't break anything. And that reminds me, let's don't want to confuse anyone. Let's increase this a little bit. So I'm going to Telecon, and I'm just increasing the velocity because I'm really not happy with how long it takes for the barrel to respond. And this would be a game balance issue as far as how quickly you want it to respond. Just like with the movement, maybe you think it approaches you too slowly. Maybe you want to increase that as well. Anyways, not trying to confuse anyone, just letting you know that you can tweak these, because it's not changing the functionality, it's just changing the speed. Anyways, so now we're checking for the status, but we're not changing anything. We're checking for the status, but the status isn't being changed. So if you've instantiated this, then we want a new status. So Telekinesis status is now set to wait. Because what we're going to do is this represents when the barrel is moving towards you. So you shouldn't be able to shoot out again, but you shouldn't be able to use it as a weapon yet. You're in this kind of limbo state where you're waiting for the barrel to approach you. So let's save that. So now what we want to happen is we want this to be changed when the barrel collides with the buffer object. So we come to MoveCon because this is what's attached to the barrel. And we already have that carved out right here. We already say, okay, has the barrel hit an object? Yes, it has. Is the name buffer? Yes, it is. So we just need to add this one extra line here. So that's one of the great things. If you design the program in a way to be that it scales, you may find that you can actually add functionality really easily. So we have to declare the script that that variable is defined in, since it's a static variable. And we said it is that. So shotcon.telekinesis status is set to Y. So now you have three statuses. You have the status where you have not shot and the barrel is not approaching you. You have the wait status, which occurs when you shoot, okay, so you can't shoot again. And then when the barrel reaches the buffer, now this is set to Y, so now you have your third status. Why do we need this third status? Because now we can shoot. So we come back to ShotCon, and we already have a lot of what we need here. So let's take this, paste it in. So we said Y, make sure it's Y and not yes. Yep, it's Y. So once you hit the space bar, this is no longer true because it gets changed to wait. This won't happen while it's wait. This won't happen until wait gets changed to yes, and we said wait gets changed to yes when the collision with the buffer occurs. So once it's yes, or Y, sorry, I'm using those words interchangeably. If you're hitting space, then we want something else entirely different to happen. Okay? What we want to happen at this point is we want this to shoot, okay? So that means we need to add another status. We don't need this to do anything. We just need it to change to shoot. So you've hit the key. This is set to yes. Now you're going to change this to shoot. And now we're going to be able to shoot from here. Why are we using this? Well, this script is attached to the barrel. So all you have to do is check for that variable again. So if shotcon dot telekinesis status equals shoot, then we want the barrel to do something. Basically just a modification of what we already did. And that is we're going to take, we're going to take the velocity and we're just going to reverse it. Now again, this is working because we're in a static location. Once we start rotating a character around, we're going to have to start replacing these with variables. But like I said, this is an iterative process where you get the basic functionality to work and then you build upon it. And at this point, that will be the bulk of the functionality. And in addition to shoot, what we want is we want this status to be set back to no, and now you've gone full circle. You went from no to wait to yes to shoot. And so what we're going to do here is, again, we have to address the script that the variable is declared in. And we set it back to n, and there we go. So now you'll be able to shoot again. So let's save this, and let's see if this works. So we shoot. And so that was a little bit more quick. Now let's shoot again. There you go. You now have the basics of the telekinesis ability. Now, we would obviously have to work with the physics because this is just floating around. Why? Because we shut off gravity. But who knows? Maybe you're doing this in a zero-G environment and that's exactly the effect you want. So sometimes you have a happy accident. Right now, the reason why I have gravity shut off is because I didn't want to have to deal with the Y velocity. But maybe you're in a zero-gravity environment and that's what you want. So the last thing would have the barrel be destroyed. So I think we're going to wait for another video for that because when the barrel gets destroyed, you then have the question of, okay, do you have a particle effect? Do you have like the object blow up into pieces and things like that? So let's stop there for now because now we've added the second part to the functionality, and then the next one is going to be dealing with the bells and whistles. Is there going to be an explosion? Is there going to be a sound effects? Also, what do we do about rotation? Because right now this is all on rails. This is working because the character does not rotate and because the character does not move. Once we start to rotate and move the character, then we're going to have to start replacing with variables. So great, made a lot of progress, and I think that's it for this video.